potential candidate, State Representative Glenn Davis here with me. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Yes, sir.
Good, good. I'm doing good. So now, you're for the 190th district, which is West Philadelphia, covers a certain section of West Philadelphia. Just talk about that a little bit. What area does it exactly cover?
Well, it covers, you have Fairmount Park, and the main area is West Philadelphia, down to around, from as far as Parkside, all the way down to Larchwood.
Okay. Now let's talk about that. Why did you decide to run as the state representative?
Let's start. I'm a proud father of 3 beautiful children. I have Cheyenne, who's 11, Nathan, who's 8, and my youngest daughter, Shannon, who is 7. They are a part of the public school system, and the fact that we're closing down our public schools at a exponentially high rate. Last year we closed down 24 schools, and we're building prisons instead. You know, I want people to understand that we're building 2 prisons at the site of Greatersford. We have SEI Phoenix 1 and SEI Phoenix 2 that is actually costing us over $450 million. And they're closing our schools down, saying they don't have funds. So that's one aspect of it. I do have a record. It's not an extensive record. It's misdemeanors. But that is causing me not to find the work that can help me sustain a life for myself and my children. So last year I attended Mayor Michael Nutter's Ex-Offenders Job Fair, which over 3,000 participants came down there. And they closed the door in our face because they said we can't accommodate so many people. And that was just a show and a slap in the face that y'all not really looking out for us. Yeah, it was a game. You know, this is Mayor Michael Nutter's Ex-Offenders Job Fair. So I'm going to keep it real. You had hustlers that were down there saying, I don't want to be out there on the street. You giving me an avenue, the mayor giving me an avenue to find work, I'm going to be there. And they were dressed to the T, shirts, ties on, waving their resumes and at the door when they closed it, like, hey, I want this. And then they actually came back out, told us they couldn't accommodate us, and told us to put our resumes in a cardboard box. They came out with cardboard boxes amongst all the people out there saying, hey, put your resume in a cardboard box. And that was their idea of a job fair. You know, these are certain things that eat at you, because you come home and you just sit around and you just wonder, are we being represented correctly?
Right.
So that, and I say we're not. You know, it's not a Republican thing or a Democrat thing. You know, they both are hurting us. And truthfully, we are a Democratic city. And we've been voting, I'm 44 years old, and we've been voting democratically for years and years and years. And nothing's changed. Actually, things are getting worse. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm actually running.
So as a state representative, you feel that you're going to take these situations that you recently talked about and you're going to help improve on these situations and change them for the better?
Yeah, all right. So definitely you can't close down the schools. The last thing that should be on the budget to be cut from should be schooling. You get me? You have to educate the youth, because once we are gone, we're going to, you know, pass away. It's the youth that's going to take the lead. So if you're not going to educate them, who's going to lead? What are they going to know? I mean, they're not teaching economics. They're not teaching life skills. And they're closing down schools. I want people to understand that the schools that are open, they have a 3rd grade predictive. So by the time your child is in 3rd grade, our government knows if that child is supposed to be a success or not, and will build a bed in the jail cell for that child that they see not going to make it by 3rd grade. So if you already have what is called a 3rd grade predictive, how are you closing schools? That means you were forcing and perpetuating school to prison pipeline.
Right. So, you know, Green Party, many people don't know too much about it. If you can explain a little bit your views of the Green Party. A lot of people think, when they think of the color Green Party, they think of recycling, they think of, you know, pollution, you know, not pollute anymore. So when you think of the Green Party, it's your opinion, how does it affect your specific community, which is the West Philadelphia, that this certain section of West Philadelphia? How will the Green Party, and even you, how will you help with these situations such as pollution in this certain section of West Philadelphia?
All right. Now, let's keep it real. I'm going to keep it very real. In the 198 district, they're not really focused on the environment the way they should be. I mean, because we're going through so many other issues, they're not strictly environmental. So this part is to educate and to teach people about fracking, because we don't frack right here. That's up in our higher northern and central part of the state. But that water that they are fracking and contaminating is coming down. We're down, so all that water comes to us. So it really does affect us, and we have to educate people in Philadelphia. And I'm starting in the 198th district. I'm not going for an at-large or mayor position. I felt as though I had to start small and locally and start building that education process up. Now, as far as the Green Party's been around for 30 years. But it, like you were saying, it was more about the environmental issues. So it wasn't a party then, it was a green environmental movement. Until 99, that's when we started running candidates. The movement built enough to say, okay, we need to start running candidates, because we don't believe that the Democratic Republican system is representing us. During that time, what we had was people that Republicans and Democrats that would keep the independent voice down, because the Green Party is an independent party of that corporate politic machine. So in 2004 and 2006, we had very good candidates. We had Ralph Nader as a candidate, and what the Republicans and Democrats did, while they used our taxpayer money, over $2.8 million, and used state representatives and other people that were on the clock getting paid extra money to do fraud and to keep the Green Party's voice from being heard, which we actually sued them. And one gentleman that I do know of, Bill DeWise, he went to jail. He just got out earlier this year. He went to jail for 1.5 years because of this corruption. But media doesn't show it. Media is not going to play that 2 people went to jail to keep the Green Party's voice down. A lot of people don't know, you can't hear about the Greens because we cannot become committee people. If you want to be a committee person or a ward leader, start very low. You can't. You must choose between the Republicans and the Democrats. And if I'm saying I'm independent and don't agree, well, you have to keep your mouth shut because you can't go wrong. So these are certain avenues that they keep the voice of the Green Party down. And now, I mean, with social media and the way we want to do things, we're trying to get our voices heard.
Okay. So now, do you have any upcoming ideas or any upcoming events or any upcoming plans to help get the community more involved with the Green Party?
Okay, so one of the things that I do like and I want to focus on is the campaign to take back vacant land. Because there's so many foreclosures, and then the houses that are already there, they're knocking them down, and then you just have this plot of land that the city don't want to come and clean up. You have all these lots that have weeds growing up as tall as me and you. So the campaign to take back vacant land is just that. We want to take this land. We're not calling it ours. It's going to be community controlled. It's on my block. We want to gather the community around, build fruits and vegetables, plant fruits and vegetables over there, or a community garden, even a community space where you can just sit with a bench and just relax. We want to focus on that because that beautifies our community. And right now, either the city don't care because they're not coming in and taking care of theirs, or they say we can't do it because it's private property, and they're not coming out to clean it either. Right. The way I look at it is like, hey, I don't care. We're going to just use it. 2 reasons: if it's the city owned, hey, we just saved the taxpayers money because you don't have to come out and clean it. And we've done this before in Kensington, and planted fruits and vegetables, and then the city came out and knocked down the fruits and vegetables.
Wow.
So this is a proactive way. First of all, we're doing a good thing, and sometimes the city coming in and knocking it down, I'm going to say that's a good thing too, because now you're getting the people aware, like the city and the people, the powers, the system don't really focus on what we need. You just crush my watermelon, you just crush my tomato or my lettuce, that's food. And you don't have to be, it's a clean lot. So that's one of our main focuses. And also community-controlled businesses. There's not enough community-controlled businesses. Your dollar has to stay in your community. If all your money is going to corporations, McDonald's, or let's say what's a good coffee place? You pick a good
Starbucks.
Starbucks, but we don't have one. What's the other local one?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. We got about 3 Dunkin' Donuts in this district, and that money does not stay here. All that money that we pay for the coffee or McDonald's for those burgers, that's not local income. What it means, you need a whole bunch more local businesses where your dollar circulates. So that if I go to a barbershop that's local,
Right.
go to a hair twisting place or whatever, that dollar that goes to a local business. 'Cause
Right.
most of our hair cutteries are local owned businesses. Now, let's say he goes to a corner store that's local. Because now he wants to buy certain things. Now that dollar is starting to circulate in this district. Right now, and I love my Latino brothers and sisters, not nothing against them, but they're on the rise, and I'm glad. But we have to look at the positive aspects of that and say, well, look, in my district, almost every corner store is a Latino-owned corner store. No problem with that. We have to learn from it. But the thing is, they don't live in that district. They don't. They close shop and then they take the funding that they earn out the district. And what I've learned is we need to build, because what I've learned, I did a lot of my advocacy down in the Kensington area of Philadelphia. And they have a very strong civic association, which means they hire from their neighborhood, they advocate for their neighborhood, having strong advocacy and outreach. All that brings up that neighborhood and housing. They build housing and all that development where they say, look, this is a civic association. Even as, like myself, I did a lot of activist work down there, but I could not work for them because I live in West Philadelphia. That was a hard thing for me to take, but that was a blessing. I had to realize that's a good thing. It's not a hate thing. You're just focused on your community. And I had to bring that up to the 190th district and say, this is what we need to do. We need to have a civic association so we can also start rising in the 190th district. So those are 2 of the main things that I focus on that I can see will help rejuvenate this district. The legalization of marijuana will not just uplift this district, it will uplift Pennsylvania, period, because we can't change that law without state regulation, which I would advocate for because we have definite proof of it curing cancer in an edible form or a liquid form. And since that's been proven, and since Washington State and Colorado has also legalized it for recreational use, the regulation and the taxation has brought in 1 month over $1.2 million. That's now going to go to fund your schooling, to go fund every other thing that needs to be, where our representatives are trying to tax fracking. And I say no, because if you tax fracking, then that means that we want it, because it's funding our schools. You know that. So how can you get rid of something negative once you tax it? Taxation of marijuana is also, like I said, bringing a health issue. You have babies that seize uncontrollably, that is given it intravenously, not smoking it or anything like that. It has a very low THC count, and I don't know what the actual word for it, but it's high in another chemical balance in there. They lower the THC so the child don't get high, and raise that, and it actually stops the seizures, and that affects also kills cancer, proven that it kills cancer. So with all this research, we have to really seriously look into legalization of marijuana. The prison population went down because of that. Right now, we're spending over $31,000 a year for somebody to be in prison.
Wow.
And let's put it like this real quick, and I'll let you, ask more questions. I haven't made $31,000 a year yet. So how are we using taxpayer money to house an inmate for $31,000? That's approximately like $15 an hour, and we have a minimum wage of $7.25. So we pay more to house an inmate than we have somebody working at McDonald's. That system is just wrong. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm wondering why our state representatives, city council, I don't care who is in charge, why aren't y'all focusing y'all attention to this?
Okay. Now, as we get ready to go, time is running short. If you wanted to add anything else to this broadcast here, anything else, if you want to talk specifically to our viewers who are watching? Any last comments from you? What would they be?
I mean, the last comments would be this. We have young men that are now a part of the Green Party, and that's what we need to focus on. Not just young men, but young men and women to get involved in this political fight. I mean, the young men between 18 and 35, coming out of high school and coming into a society in which you cannot find a good, sustainable job, let alone find a woman and having children. These things need to be brought to the forefront because we're hurting them. We go to school and we wind up in debt, and we have actual college graduates in McDonald's. I'm a veteran of foreign war. You know, I worked on the most expensive helicopters in the world, and I came out the service with no degree, no certificate, and I'm put back into a society where they say, okay, just make it. And I fought for this country. We want to build new soldiers, not soldiers for the government, street soldiers, soldiers for the people. This is the party for the people, and we need more soldiers. So please, soldier up. Come over to the Green Party. Leave the Democrats, the Republicans alone. If you haven't yet registered to vote, please come to 5724 Vine Street at headquarters, Philadelphia, PA, or call 215-740-6354, and you can come by and register green, register independent. I don't care. Register to vote and get your voice heard.
That's right. Every voice count. Cast your vote on November 8th. State Representative here, Glenn Davis for the West Philadelphia section, 190th Ward. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Once again, everybody, I'm Cashion Lee.
All right.
All right. 16.